Welcome to this episode of the Agile Coaches Corner podcast. I'm your host, Dan Neumann, and I am super excited today to be joined by Ola Tunde, a prior guest who helped talk about some Agile leadership. And Tunde, you and I were going to be talking Agile leadership, a deeper dive today. Thanks for joining.
Thank you so much, Dan, for having me.
Leadership, I feel like, is a very frequent topic, but it's easy. It's easy to not really have leadership in place as part of an Agile journey, or organizations get in, the leaders don't really know how they can contribute to the journey, and are they just supposed to be managers? I'm curious what you're seeing on the leadership side.
Yeah, thank you for asking that. When you look at leadership, some people think just because someone is a manager makes them a leader. I beg to differ on that. Every manager is not a leader. Some people are a positional leader, in where they work hard and they, grow within the organization. They have a high ranking position within the organization, but don't have the knowledge or the influence to kind of draw people. You understand what I'm saying? Draw people towards them. A leader draw people. A manager force people, force them by threats, force them by benefits, force them by different tactics. That's what a manager does.
Yeah. Implicit in the definition of a leader is you have to have some followers.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. If you're a leader leading people and nobody's following, that leader is just taking a walk. Let me say that again. If you're a leader leading people and no one is following you, that leader is just taking a walk alone.
And there's nothing wrong with a nice walk. Just don't mistake it for leadership. There's a video that was making its way around the internet at one point. It was was it the first follower or the third follower? It was a guy who was dancing on the hill, just carefree and abandoned. And eventually he kept doing it. And then somebody else was like, I'm going to go join the crazy guy. And then a third person. And then eventually there was a bit of a movement, but it took somebody leading. Well, for a while, he was taking a walk kind of by himself, but attracted other people to what they were doing.
I like that.
Don't know what it has to do with agility, but I'm thinking you're going to help me connect that.
Absolutely. Well, agility is nothing but a new way of working. That's what Agile is. A better way of doing what you've always been doing. And sometimes leadership has to have, Dan, I want to digress real quick. We always talk about Agile leadership, Agile team, Agile organization. But before it takes individuals to make up the organization. So there's a concept, a framework out there that I'm working on. It's called personal agility. Personal agility is the ability to be the picture of what we are expecting the organization to be. So a good leader, not a good manager, a good leader is the picture of agility that the organization and the people should follow. Personal agility with leadership.
And so what jumps out to me there is that leader modeling the behavior that they want, exhibiting the principles, exhibiting the values that they're hoping to attract other people to.
Yep, absolutely. That when you look at John Maxwell, he's by far one of my hero in life, one of my favorite author. There's no book of John Maxwell that I don't have. So I believe in 1996, I read one of his book called the 21 Indisputable Laws of Leadership. One of the quote that John Maxwell put in that book was, a leader is the one who knows the way. A leader is the one who goes the way. A leader is the one who shows the way. What does that mean? I'm going to say that again. The leader knows the way, has a vision. The leader goes the way, has mission. Vision is what you the end result that you envision to kind of create within yourself. The mission is the ability to take steps, the right steps to get to that vision, and the leader shows the way. When you've been there as a leader, you are able to guide the people to get them to the way. What way? The way of organizational agility, meaning the organization will have more collaboration. The organization is an organization that have a culture of continuous learning. How can we get better as an organization to have influence in the market over our competitor? Leadership drive that. Then, without effective leadership, that organization will not thrive. Let me give you an example. Blockbuster had a lot of managers, but not too many leaders. They're extinct now. Let me give you another one. Enron. They had a lot of managers that did mismanagement. There was not enough leadership. They are gone. The effective way that a leader will lead is to show vision, to understand the mission, and lead the people within the organization to the place of destination.
I think what you describe is super important. And when I think about a lot of agile transformations, sometimes it's not the leader's vision to go on the agile journey, it's somebody below them. And that for me is where I see a lot of challenges in agile journeys, where somebody, not the leader, a leader maybe, goes on the agile journey, and at some point it runs into the organizational DNA that's like, no, we the company didn't sign up for this. You might have signed up for that.
Yep.
Your little group did, or your medium-sized group might have, or even a big group might have, but we the company, HR, compliance, audit, recruiting, marketing, support, the whole organization didn't. And I think that's where a lot of agile journeys and agile leadership run into
Abs-
walls that they struggle with.
yep. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Middle managers, sometimes are the impediment within an organization. Um, Let me give you an example. True life story. Uh, I was in a client engagement with a financial company in Jersey City, and the coach. I have the opportunity to work with multiple arts, and each art having a coach. And
Sorry, art being agile release train.
thank you.
Yep.
Agile release train art. Yes, our favorite thing. So the coach was struggling, the teams were struggling. So as a enterprise coach, how can I show that coach better way of doing things? You know what I did? I allowed the coach to watch me do his job for the team level. I allowed the coach and the scrum master to watch me do the job of a scrum master to serve the team. And then look at program managers and say, okay, this is how we do prioritization of epics. I was able to inspire them to learn in a different way, and also to do what they do in a different way so that they will get a better result. That Those are the traits of a good leader. A good leader sometimes have to actually be the one to do the work and then set expectation. A good leader is someone that inspect what they expect, meaning that they have done the job, they expect everyone else to do the job in a better way, and then they inspect it for the benefit of the organization that we are serving.
Mm. I was on a conference this morning, and the concept of coaching came up. And
Mhm.
then as part of that, the shu ha-ri approach, which
Ah,
shu, kind of follow the rules, and really having the ability to say, this is how you are to do the activity. This is how we're going to do Scrum. We don't ask a team to invent how they want to do Scrum coming out of the gates. They don't know anything about Scrum. But
yep,
here's how we put some things in place. Um, and then eventually getting into the ha and the re state, where you take some liberties with the form potentially. Uh,
absolutely.
but it makes me want, like, a leader, a C-suite leader isn't going to come down and answer phone calls on the help desk. They're not going to come down and start writing C++ or .NET or, and they're not going to build a CI/CD pipeline or
Yeah,
put together agile marketing things. And so they do have an accountability for a vision, but then they also need other people to carry out the vision much closer to that work.
absolutely. Absolutely. No, no, I agree with you 100%. They need people to carry out the vision that they want. But then I believe it is the responsibility of the leader of the organization to help attract the talent that will fulfill the mission. It is the responsibility of an agile leadership to retain talent to actually execute on the mission. It is also the responsibility of an agile leadership to actually develop talent,
Hmm.
cultivate. All of us, then, all of us are nothing but plants. And along the way in our life, we've had people that water, we've had people that prune, we had people that guide, we've had people that help develop to cultivate so we can yield better fruit. The effective way of a good agile leader is a leader that yield fruit. What kind of fruit? People. People are the byproduct of a good, effective agile leader. However, if the people that the leader attract are not aligned to the vision of the leader, the organization will not thrive.
Hmm.
So this is where that C plus leadership should not put project manager. I don't not saying that project managers are bad. People that are just driving people
Right.
like a heroic mindset, weeping, do it, without understanding the human factor.
Yeah, your metaphor, attract the right kind of people,
Yes,
develop them, develop the ones who already have. But to build on your fruit metaphor, if you need apples and you've got an orange tree, that orange tree's not going to give you apples no matter how much fertilizer, pruning, sunshine, water. It's just an orange tree. We need
absolutely,
apples, right?
absolutely.
And there is a responsibility to help make sure um, the right people on the bus. That's not John Maxwell, I don't think. That is Good to Great, the Good to Great book, right? Talking about getting the right people
Yes,
on the bus.
yes. I'm not familiar with the book, but
Mm,
I'm familiar with the quote.
yeah, for sure. So there is the responsibility to help attract, retain, develop, and in some cases help people figure out this isn't quite the right spot for you anymore. Maybe it was, and maybe it's not anymore.
You
It's
know,
not a
that's so
bad
true.
doesn't make them bad people.
No,
Just means it's
no.
not the right spot, and that's okay.
Everybody doesn't every talent within the organization is not meant to fit in the vision of the organization. Meaning, that I have worked for some organization as a servant leader that, I mean, they stunted my growth. I was working out of fear. I hated getting up in the morning to go to work. I was not a good fit for that organization. That organization was not a good fit for me. And the moment I left the organization, I slept better. I think better. My creativity is there. So I want to speak to every leader. Not everyone is passionate about your vision. Not everyone can fulfill your mission. Not everyone can execute your expectation for the organization. And that's okay. That's okay.
Yep. So let's before it gets too dark on the on the HR side of things, right? But so if there is a vision and you have as a leader nurtured people, you've shared the vision, you're trying to nurture them. In order to bring them along, you need some trust. Like you said, the
Yes.
leader without followers is just on a walk. Well, if somebody's going to go across a bridge with you, I've seen those bridges. They're like two strands of wire with a little tiny cable underneath them. Like, I'm going to have to trust a leader before I get out on that very uncertain looking footing.
Yeah.
Might be totally safe, might be super secure, nothing's really going to happen. but it
Mhm.
looks scary. And I like my feet on solid ground. So you've got to build that trust then as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, trust is the bridge to get to the vision. Trust is the bridge that help catapult us to the vision, because you anyone can have a vision, but you need people to actually help you execute the missions that lead to the vision. If the people don't have trust, I'm telling you, there will be chaos. So leaders that are emotional but don't have devotion to help their people thrive will cause the organization nothing but commotions. Let me say that again. Leaders that are emotional, that are not fully devoted to the people they are serving, will cause the organization nothing but commotions.
And I don't know if we'll release the video, but I'm smiling. I'm like, man, that's good, Tunde. I don't know if that was in a fortune cookie or
No, I
that'd
just
be
came
like
up with it right
that'd be
now.
like a fortune cake right there. That's a big, but I've lived that. And it was a project where everyone was scared to tell the big boss
Hmm.
that this project wasn't going to be on time, budget, or with scope. It was red, red, red. But then the next layer decided, well, it's not really red. It's sort of orangey yellowish. And the
Yeah,
next layer turned it green until we missed the date. And you try to explain to a C-suite guy why all the dashboards are green until the date got missed. That's not good for anybody.
no, it's
But
not.
it was that, I think, that emotional danger. There's no danger. It was just fear. Everybody was scared. And there was no actual danger there. They were just scared because there wasn't the trust to say, we heard you. We're trying. There's a lot of this setup that's not right, and it's not going to hit the expectations that you had. So lots of commotion was created.
Then let me give you a nature example of a good leader. There are different type of species of birds in the world. Some that we've seen and know, some that we have never seen, and scientists are still discovering them. So I want to pick one bird. I want to pick an eagle. Do you know, Dan, that an eagle can see its prey over a mile away? Over 1 mile. That's vision. An eagle fly the highest when the storm rise, because the eagle spread its wing and allowed the storm to elevate it beyond other birds. The plateau that eagles fly on, you cannot see no other bird fly on that level. If you see them, it's nothing but an eagle. Let me bring the point home. A leader, everyone is not supposed to understand what you see. Everyone cannot fly on that level. You need to stay as a C-suite leader with your mission, your vision. I allow people to help you create a mission so that the organization can thrive. When the storm rises, just like an eagle, the leader doesn't panic. The people will panic. They will go in hiding. Some will quit. Some will take a break. Some will do different things we human do. However, that leader or those leader will allow the storm of the organization to carry them. The storm doesn't last always. It will be over. Different people will come that will help you, that will be the foot soldiers to help you fulfill the vision. That is an agile leadership.
Oh man, I have pictures of eagles soaring now. I love the visual. Right. So and they need to maintain, a vision. And
Yes.
then the challenge is how to adjust to changes in the environment, to things when the strategy said, this is the path. We got partway down that path and went, ooh, that strategy isn't working. Or here's COVID, a global pandemic hit. Your strategy for being a restaurateur might have been brilliant until
Yeah,
literally nobody can go in your restaurant. And then
exactly.
how do you maintain the vision maybe that was around service and experience and taste and all that
Hmm.
with a different tactic or a different strategy, because that just got all shot to hell.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. Yep. Sometimes having being an agile leadership, and trying to create a culture of continuous learning will get you fired as a leader, and that's okay. That's just a storm. That's a storm. Some storms come to promote the leader because they do have a vision. Some storms come to kind of create chaos within the organization, like COVID, and so that we can realign. COVID create chaos globally, and now we are working from home, but we are still productive, even more productive.
Yeah, I'm just thinking of that with all the global supply chain. Yeah, there's a
Oh,
lot to unpack. We won't go into global supply chain because I don't think Tunde and Dan are going to fix it on,
no.
the 5 minutes left on this podcast. But it is about responding to change, and
Yes.
the things that were well-oiled machines in a steady state environment, now the chaos has caused ripples that were not foreseeable. And so something where a lean approach, a Six Sigma approach, limited work and limited inventory, driving out variance, like, no, all there is now is variance. And so what do we do, and how can we still deliver? And so it's a new strategy, and it'll take a while to find that.
Yep.
So let's talk. There are three things you said leaders focus on. You didn't say it in here, but you said it before. Setting direction, inspiring commitment, and building some capacity. So maybe we can just, as we get towards the back part here, let's explore those things. So direction, commitment, and capacity building.
Awesome. So I want to start from the bottom up. So the capacity building is every one of us daily. We are given a small number of ergs of energy, and if leaders don't help us channel those energy for the benefit of the organization, it's a loss. It's a loss. Um, Let me give you a good example. Um, the founder of Apple, what was his name? Steve Jobs.
Let's go with Jobs. That's the name that was on my tongue.
Steve Jobs. So, do you know that he had a vision all along? He proposed it to some organization and he got fired twice that we know of. Twice.
And one of those
So,
times was from Apple. He got fired.
exactly, his own vision fired him. His own vision
Yeah.
fired him. Can you imagine that?
Yeah.
Because the reason why is when you put a shark in an aquarium, it will only grow max 8 inches, 8 to 12. No, I'm sorry, 8 feet.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that's a big aquarium, but when you take the same shark and put them in the ocean, it grows according to its capacity. The same thing happened. Understanding the capacity of individuals within the organization is the job of the leader. What is the next one?
Inspiring commitment. So
Ah,
building capacity and then inspiring commitment.
I was born in Nigeria, and we were taught to basically sew using hand with needles and
Mm.
everything. So we were taught that. But if you made a mistake and you used the wrong thread, there's a certain way they ask us to draw it out with patience so that you will not mess up the garment. Because if you mess up the garment, you have to redo it all over again. A good leader has to understand that concept to draw people, not pull people, to draw them by inspiring them to action. What kind of action? The action to help the organization thrive.
I love it. And then, of course, we have to have some direction, right? We can't just
Uh,
be we can't end up with a shirt with 18 sleeves, even if we get all the thread pulled right. Right? We've got
yep.
to we've got to have some direction that we're heading towards.
this is where sometimes managers have to kind of, this is leaders have to um, manage by setting the pace, setting the direction. I remember when I was in college, there's a gentleman by the name of Eugene Baker. We used to run, we ran track, and we ran 800 meters, which is basically half a mile. Um, my goal was not to be the first because Eugene was faster than me. But I know if I can keep up with Eugene, I will come out in the top five because Eugene had long stride, long legs, and he kept the same pace. It was tiring for me, but I did it. The leader has to be able to do the same thing. Set the pace, keep it steady to deliver value with the people for the organization.
That's wonderful, Tunde. You have given a lot to think about and some very interesting quotes. We'll have to pull some of those out and capture them for posterity.
Thank you, Dan.
But I do appreciate you sharing on the thought of agile leadership. What would you like to leave us with as a closing thought on the topic?
I want to encourage all leaders uh, not to call people resources. The people that serve you are not resources. They're not some paper that you're going to use, and after you use them, you throw them away. No, people are people, and you cannot inspire resource. You cannot inspire paper. You can create papers, but you can inspire people to help the performance of your organization thrive. Let's stop calling people resources and calling them what they are, the people that are doing the work,
I,
knowledgeable workers.
I love it. I think we're going to win that one. I think we're going to win. We just got to keep after it. I don't know how people receive it. I haven't had anybody get angry, but it's like, yeah, no, like, can we stop calling them resources? They're people. They
Yep.
might be talent. We can call them talent.
Yes.
We can call them
Talent.
people,
Yep.
but no, resource. It's something you use up and it's gone.
Yep.
So
Absolutely.
yeah, thank you very much, Tunde. Really appreciate it again. What might be on Tunde's continuous learning journey these days?
I am, like right now, there's a book I'm reading called Agile Marketing, and it is something that is changing my paradigm, the way I think, and also working on a framework that allow people to not be face to face, to still be able to deliver iteratively, maybe every 2.5 days to every week, delivering into production. That's what I'm working on.
I love it. Yeah, and the focus that gets created by trying to deliver frequently and actually delivering is phenomenal. So
Mhm.
much more energy, so much better than, well, we're working on it. We're working on that and 18 other things. Nothing's moving, but we're working on everything. Very busy. Right. So that's totally different than actually delivering. So I look forward to hearing more about your agile marketing exploration and framework for delivery in a future episode. Thank you, Tunde.
Thank you so much, Dan, for having me.
Anytime.